Okay. What has your experience been like volunteering for the George Moretus campaign?
Volunteering with George has been just such an extremely positive experience. I used to work full-time for political campaigns, and I came off of them pretty burnt out, and I said I would never go back, but I am back volunteering for George because he is such an amazing person, and his community is so supportive, and it's like being a part of a true team. That's why we do #TeamMoretus, because it is like being on a team, and volunteering is an inclusive thing, and it's a fun thing, and I've really just had an incredible experience so far.
What is it about George that made you want to volunteer for his campaign in 2014 and then again in 2016?
Well, back in 2014, I was actually interning while I was with the political science department here at FAU. But I just did a little bit of background stuff for him. I did a lot of like social media posts and different things and going out to events for him. And he was just one of the easiest candidates to work for. He's always willing to do anything, take a picture with anyone, showcase this part about him, whether that it was in his Navy or having his two lovely daughters and his lovely wife in the photos, or his dog, different things like that. George was always just one of the most easygoing candidates. And so when I found out that he was running again in 2016 and that he had an opponent, I definitely wanted to jump back on board and help him out, because he was just such a wonderful joy to work for back in 2014, so that's why I'm back here in 2016.
What do you think sets George Moretus apart from his Democratic opponent?
George was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. Like, his family still lives in the district. He actually went out canvassing with his parents, and just I think so many different things set him apart. This is his third time running in District 93, and he has a lifetime of service. He served in the Navy as a submarine officer. His policies, he's been always a big advocate about jobs. He's been expanding Port Everglades over his past 2 terms, which has indirectly helped 200,000 jobs. He's always about funding for schools and building up education in the next generation. And he's not the typical politician who's spends money all willy-nilly. He gives resources to the people who deserve it, the people who need it, like the police officers, fire, and everyone who works at Port Everglades to protect our borders and protect us in District 93.
And my last question is, out of all the issues he discusses, which do you think appeals most to voters?
I think specifically in the House District of 93, I think specifically it's the jobs and the local economy, because the district is east of Dixie and runs all the way along the coastline to Port Everglades from Deerfield Beach. So you can imagine that there's definitely a rich commerce there, whether it's tourism, whether it's education, or manufacturing jobs, and just different companies that his district encompasses. So I think that's probably the biggest one, and just everything spurs off of the economy. So I think we found that a lot of times that's what appeals to voters, because when it comes down to it, if you don't have a job, it makes it difficult to achieve a lot of different things. So I think he really focuses on that and focuses on the priorities of the constituents of District 93. And that's something that I think is just so remarkable about him, and why he's been elected twice and will hopefully be re-elected on November 8th.